sera fait, tout ce qui sera dit, Seigneur, que cela soit selon ta volonté. Éternel, nous bénissons ton nom parce que tu es un Dieu qui est uni, Père. Et tout ce que nous faisons, c'est pour l'unité dans la communauté. Seigneur, nous prions, car ta parole dit qu'une maison qui est divisée contre elle-même ne peut subsister. Alors que ta paix règne dans nos cœurs, que ta paix règne dans notre communauté, que l'union, l'amour et la communion fraternelle soient notre partage. Nous te disons merci pour ce soir au nom de Jésus-Christ. Father, once again, we come before you and we bless your name for this hour. We thank you for bringing each and everyone in this place. For it is you, O God, that ordered our steps and brought us here. Father, we pray that the event that we came for tonight shall be a wonderful event, O God. Let everything that we will do shall bring glory to your name, Father. For you are a God that is united with yourself, Lord. We pray for the spirit of unity, love, and understanding in this community. Father, your word says that a house that is divided against itself cannot prosper. We pray for love to remain among us. In the mighty name of Jesus Christ, we thank you, Lord, for this time. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. On applaudit pour le pasteur Yolande. Merci pour la prière de bénédiction. We thank you very much for the prayer, the blessing prayer. Take control of the evening, and we know everything is fine, we are safe, the angels of this place. Maintenant que nous avons demandé au Seigneur de prendre le contrôle de cette soirée, nous allons démarrer les choses véritablement. Mais nous nous trouvons aux États-Unis et c'est normal que, avant qu'on ne commande toute chose, que l'hymne national, c'est-à-dire que ce respect-là puisse donner à ce pays qui nous reçoit, ce pays d'accueil. Donc, je vais vous demander à tous de vous tenir debout. I'm going to ask ladies and gentlemen to stand up. So, we will sing the national anthem, the U.S. national anthem. You know, the host country, the country that actually welcome all of us today. So, our beautiful young girls will sing the national anthem first. Now that we now finished with the national anthem for this country, we also, you all know that we're here tonight. The event is organized by the Association of the Ivorian in New York. So we cannot start this party also without recognizing our the country, the Ivory Coast, actually, La Côte d'Ivoire. So we're going to sing also the national anthem of the Ivory Coast. So I'm going to ask ladies and gentlemen once again to stand up, just by respect. You know, respect the country is very important. We're going to sing the national anthem. I believe this time we're not going to have a young girl singing for us, but we all going to do that because I know all of us here, most of us in this room here, we are Ivorian. So we all speak French, so we can sing this song. Okay, see, I'm going to count in 3. Je vais compter jusqu'à 3 et ensemble on va chanter. Parce que nous tous dans cette salle, nous parlons tous français, nous sommes pratiquement des Ivoiriens. Donc nous allons chanter cela à l'honneur de notre Côte d'Ivoire. Voilà, notre cher patrie que nous avons beaucoup. Donc je compte 1, 2, 3, on y va. Salut au terre. Salut au
Naturellement, on a un seul Dieu pour nous tous. Donc, en tant que musulmans, on m'a annoncé l'absence de notre imam. Il fallait qu'on trouve un musulman pour prier pour la soirée, pour la circonstance. Donc, par ma modeste voix, je vous prie de m'excuser parce que nous sommes pleins de péchés et vraiment ce soir-là, c'est un peu trop long pour moi. Donc, avec votre permission, je vais prier et que Dieu exauce nos prières. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الحمد لله رب العالمين الحمد لله رب العالمين. Que Dieu accepte nos prières. Donc je ne peux pas aller loin. Donc s'il vous plaît, que la soirée soit bénie. Je vous en prie.
Merci mon frère. Je crois que les prières sont montées. Tonight we are here because we are the invited by this association. By every organization, every association, it must have a leader. And the person who's leading this association tonight is Mr. Lucien Kwasi. So please, welcome Mr. Lucien Kwasi.
First of all, I say thank you to everyone who is here tonight. It's definitely a pleasure to have people coming tonight for such a special event, and that event is we're talking about education. Education is, I believe, the most important thing that any human being can get. We sometimes take education for granted. In Africa, in Europe, in Asia, in America. But I think, especially in America, something needs to be done about education. When you look at the flyers, we're talking about the achievement gap. What is the achievement gap is about? It's simple. The achievement gap means that you have one side I would say Caucasian. I don't like to use the word white. Okay, so the proper term would be Caucasian. On one side we have Caucasian, and on the other side we do have people of color. I'm talking about black people. As you can see, I have a speech prepared, but as I always, for people that know me, I like to speak from the bottom of my heart. I don't like to read. I like to look at people in the eyes and tell them what I think. And that's what I'm trying to do this evening. So again, the achievement gap, as you go across the country, you've seen the disparity between black and Caucasian. What does that mean? It means that pretty much our kids, people of color, it means that education is not valued. Education pretty much is not a way to success. So what we want to do tonight, our contribution for this little association, which we call Association of the Ivorian in Ivory Coast. For those who know Ivory Coast used to be a wonderful country. Ivory Coast has been a country where everyone goes. We're talking about Nigerian, we're talking about Algerian, every other human being from every other country will go to Ivory Coast. So that's where we got the knowledge from. And so tonight, brothers and sisters, I just want to look at each other and make sure that our kids are able to close that gap. Make sure that when the kids look at you, they will say, you know what? The President of the United States, the name is Barack Obama Hussein. How ironic is that to have someone with a Muslim name, to have someone with a white mother, to have someone with an African father be able to be the leader of this free country. For the answer is simple. It got there because of education. It got there because it believed in education. So tonight, let's make sure that our kids, our brothers, our sisters, immigrants, let's make sure that we follow that path. I'm not going to be long. I thank you all for coming tonight for such a wonderful cause. Thank you again.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for the wonderful speech. We really appreciate it. This is a very noble cause. Education is something so important. I remember when I was asked to host this, it wasn't the case for me. And they used to tell me, you mean you came all the way here again to continue education? How long are you going to stay in school? You know, we are here making money because we're going to go back home and invest, open our businesses. I'm talking about 18 years ago. And some of these brothers that I'm talking about tonight, they still have the 2 jobs and the 3 jobs. And what I used to tell them, I say, if I'm going to take a plane, travel almost 8,000 miles to come someplace, if it's for me to do 2 and 3 jobs, I think I can do the same thing back home in my country. I don't have to pay waste so much money to come to this place to hold preacher. I'm here to get something that I couldn't get when I was back home. So I used to tell them that the same money that somebody can make in 2 and 3 jobs, one person can make that in 1 job also. But the only way you can do that if you have the education. If you have what the country requires. If you have what the system needs. And today, these brothers and sisters I'm talking about, they're still, after 18 years ago, doing the 2 and 3 jobs. And when we meet, they can't really hold any conversation really with me because they're like, if we knew. But you know, in Africa, they used to say, if you knew doesn't have a pen. On dit chez nous en Afrique que si je savais n'a pas de queue. Do we have the microphone now? We have it? The cordless mic. Is he here? The person I'm about to introduce to you, he's a doctor. Doctor not because he's a medical doctor, but doctor because he holding a PhD degree. Justin? Do we have the mic? Sorry. Good. Because he holds a PhD. This man is a native of Ivory Coast, Cote d'Ivoire, West Africa, where he was educated. He is a graduate of University of Cocody, Abidjan. That's the main university of the country. In July 1999, he was awarded the prestigious Fulbright Scholarship from the U.S. Department of the State to pursue the doctoral studies in the U.S. And like I just said, this man holds a PhD in African Studies from Temple University. He graduated from Temple University in the year 2004. He also holds various certificates in conflict resolution and conflict analysis from the U.S. Institute of Peace, the USIP, based in Washington, D.C., and from the Welcoming Center for New Pennsylvanians. The person that I just presented, or present his short biography, is the doctor, Dr. Eric Eddy. Please welcome Dr. Eric Eddy. Eric Eddy, I'm sorry for the inconvenience, but we're catching up right now. Thank you, doctor. I'm sorry once again.
Hi. How's everybody doing? Good. It's a great pleasure for me to be here. I am invited to speak on education, the value of education, but also to address some issues regarding mechanism, what to do to close the gap, as the president of the organization just said. It is very important that we speak about that, and I think that for tonight, my perspective will be more leaning toward the parents. The reason being that, I don't know how many educators, teachers we have in the room, but I know for sure that, we have as many parents that we have kids in this room tonight. And it is very important. There are some considerations and some things that we need to take and, of course, look into very quick. But the number one thing I want to do is to say thank you to Lucien Kwasi, his staff, all the people who have accepted to honor their presence, this ceremony. I want to look at Mr. and Mrs. Montero, I believe, Kwasi Jeanne, Normal Ministre, as we usually say, and of course, and her companion. But also I want to honor the pastors, and I think I saw the Imam coming a minute ago. He's right in front of me. Imam, it's been a long time. And Pastor, all of you, I say this because these are the people who also supported us. Back there in Philadelphia, while I was studying at Temple University for my doctoral studies, I had the support of Pastor Robert Jiriga, praying for me night and days because we know what we go through. I want to say thank you to all of them. I also want to congratulate tonight all the parents whose kids have graduated either from high school, middle school, kindergarten, whatever you may imagine, or from college. I want to say thank you, and I want you to clap for yourself, parents. Thank you. It is a great achievement, very great achievement, and I will tell you why in a minute. Some of the things we want to consider very quickly in here. As we talk about achievement gap, we understand that there is a gap already that we need to fill. But what is the extent of this gap? What is the value of this gap? And why do we have this gap? These are fundamental questions we need to ask ourselves. And today, as I said, kids are in the room, but I want to speak to parents. We talk about achievement gaps, but there are good news somewhere. And what is the good news? We are all black in here. Number one thing we need to understand is this: that if you look at the United States Census, in French we translate le recensement général, there is only one category for black people. It says black, or it says the black in combination with white or other races. There is no classification that will say African or African American or Nigerian American or such and such American. It just says black. Therefore, Africans, African Americans, African born foreigners, or foreigners from Africa but born in the United States, we are all lumped into one big category. Understand this is going to be one of the reasons of the achievement gap, or the gap that we're talking about. Keep this in mind. Number two, another thing we want to look at, which will be a good news for tonight, is this. And I want to read it so that we can keep it. Let me read this from the New York Forum as I did my research and preparing for this speech tonight. And follow me, it says this. Africans have the highest educational attainment rates of any immigrant group in the United States, with higher levels of completion than the stereotyped Asian American model minority. It is not only the first generation that does well, as estimates indicate, that a highly disproportionate percentage of black students at elite universities are Africans or children of African descent. What does that mean? If you look at all immigrants in the United States, the statistics, and even the last United States Census of 2010 show that Africans or African immigrants, either they're born in Africa and came in here, or they are the children of first-generation immigrants, they have the highest level or highest rate in terms of performance and in terms of educational completion or attainment at any level. It may be high school, it may be 2 years college, therefore to have an associate degree, or it may be a bachelor degree, or it may be actually higher than the bachelor degree. Matter of fact, half of the Africans in the United States have at least a bachelor degree. 2 Africans you take in the United States out of 5 have at least a bachelor degree or higher than that. And this is something that we should clap for. At least somewhere we are not lagging behind. But guess what? Even though you have this highest level, this higher rates of attainment, educational attainment, when it comes to jobs, there is a problem. We are not doing as much or as better as we do when it comes to completion. Why is that again? Remember I told you something earlier, which is the fact that we are all lumped together with the African Americans or the black. There is nothing wrong with that. But again, what is wrong with this is that there is a question of visibility, and we're going to come onto that also. Some of the things that I wanted to put in here very quick. Now, other statistics that we want to keep in mind. Who in the room, and teachers like to have interaction, who in the room can tell me the percentage of the African population in the United States? Of the whole population in the United States, how many are Africans? How many are from Africa, if you may think? What is the percentage? 10%, 2%, 3%? Make your guess. I think Lucien Kwasi has a gift for you. 3%? You're close to that. 5, we come back down. Actually, as of 2010, it is 4%. It used to be 3, by 2000, now it is 4%, and the numbers are getting higher. So we have 4% in the United States, which is not a great number. But guess what? Of the 4%, in terms of immigration years, 75% of us Africans immigrant in the United States, we came after 1990. What does that tell you? We came after 1990, and a bigger rate after 2000. So it keeps going up and up and up and up. Also, in terms of countries of origin, the majority of African immigrants in the United States come from West Africa. The majority of them. And I think it is estimated that, about 75% also come from West Africa. Nigeria being the top country, the Ivory Coast is lagging behind, but Nigeria, and you may name other countries, but that's where we all come from in a great majority. I'm giving you all these pointers, this information, because they are important in terms of working hard to close the gap that we are talking about. And again, keep this in mind, and then we'll come to that in a minute. And I want to make it very quick and very short in here. Other facts I want to give you very quick. In the United States, according to you, where do you have the largest majority of African, or in which city or state? Which state, I would say, which state hosts the largest amount of African immigrants? It's what? You say Georgia? What do you say? California.
New York City.
New York. Start with your own. It's New York. It's New York. You mentioned California, it comes second. I think you mentioned what? Georgia, it comes way, I think, 10th over there. It's not there. Actually, you mentioned New York, California, Texas, right? And even New Jersey. Historically, we can explain the majority of African people, or all immigrants, used to come to the United States through the port of New York. You stay where you land. It's also very important for us to know. And also, I want to mention some other things very quick in here, and save you with all statistics in here very quick. 1/3 of African immigrants, which is about 36% of African immigrants, have a bachelor's degree. I mentioned that earlier. And in terms of English language speaking, if you take 5 Africans in the United States, how many of them do you think speak English very well? I say very well. Now, my brothers and my sisters in the room, consider the fact that all African immigrants in the United States do not come from French-speaking countries. Keep this in mind, okay? So if you get out of your comfort zone as what we call quote-unquote francophone, I don't like that, because either you are Akan, you are Malinke, you are Soso, but francophone, I don't know what that means for here. But guess what? 2 Africans out of 5 may report that they don't speak English very well. If not, the whole population, you have at least 70%. And again, I'm going based on the last U.S. census. Last U.S. census. And that's, we say that we want to move on with something. Mr. President, you said something about the achievement gap. We can also measure the achievement gap in terms of disciplines, in terms of fields of studies, maybe at the higher level. Which field of study do you think Africans with degrees in the United States are actually being interested in? Which field of study do we major in the most? Somebody said science, somebody said business, and I'm going to prove you that you are either wrong or right. What do you say? You got one right over there. In education, in liberal arts, in humanities. And let me tell you this statistic that we get again from the U.S. Census 2010. It says this: when it comes to computer, it comes to math, it comes to statistics, the African graduates or degree holders represent only 5.5% of all the bachelor degrees and higher holders of all immigrants. 5.5%, which is not much. When you look at biology, you look at agriculture, you look at environmental studies, it is about 6.7%. Physical and related science, it is 5.1%. When it comes to psychology, it is 3.9%. Social science, 7.4%. Engineering, 4.0%. And when it comes to multidisciplinary studies, it is 7.0%. In other words, even though I mentioned earlier that African immigrants have the higher rates of attainment, educational attainment, we will see that when it comes to specific areas of studies, we are lagging behind. It is important for us to talk about that and to see this, because if we're talking and we're speaking about African immigrants, therefore African kids, we know what the continent or our respective countries needs in terms of competence, in terms of skills to claim the 21st century and maybe the 22nd century. We're talking about sciences, but we are not measuring in sciences, and we can explain that. Even back home in Africa, we train, our universities will train and graduate more students from département d'anglais, département de français, département de psychologie, département de latin, département de ceci, département d'histoire, but we don't train as many people in businesses, we don't train as many people in physical science, or we don't train as many as we should in the fields of physical and related sciences such as medicine and all of them. This kind of follows us here in the United States. Okay, now that we have said all that, the picture kind of looks good in terms of education. It is proved, therefore, based on the statistics that I just gave you, ladies and gentlemen, tonight, not to be too long, that African immigrants tend to have some sort of achievement when it comes to education in the United States. Now, does that mean that there is no issues at all when our children, our kids, go to school, whatever the level may be, kindergarten, elementary education, or what? High school, post-secondary education, college education, and even post-baccalaureate, as we said, education. Is there any issue at all that we think our kids encounter? Is there any issue that they have to face up with? Or is there any other problem that we believe kinds of prevent them from achieving much more than what they're doing? And I want to leave the floor open for that to see where we are in terms of parents. What can be the number one issue? We're going to just put them like that. Not number one, but rank them. What can be the number one issue, or one issue you think that we face, or our kids face when they go to school? The floor is open. You say discipline, you say bullying. What else? They're quiet. Maybe food will come in a minute. Is there any other issue? So, discipline and bullying, these are the two things in New York. If we fix that, the kids are going to be fine. There's no other problem. Anne-Marie, you are a mother. Give me one. This is the reason why you never get a professor to be a keynote speaker. He forgets that this is a gala event. I believe I'm in the classroom now, so I got the points. Who else wants to speak? Pastor, any issue? Imam, any issue? Okay, I'm not going to the men of God because I want you to pray for me. See? English learners. So you talk about ESL, English as, second language. Okay, so the language barrier right there, this is another issue. What else? He's raising his hand, but for something else. Any other issue? Yes. I'm sorry? Homework, what about it? Ha! Parents don't have time to do what? At least you're honest about that. Imam, tu as compris, hein? Il n'a pas le temps pour aider les enfants avec leur homework. Mais si tu le vois au maquis. Anyway, let's look at some of the issues in here, and we will see and observe that studies, there are plenty of studies in the field of education. Number one issue that I talked about is the question of visibility. And what do I mean by that? The school system, the school district in New York, in Philadelphia, in Illinois, in St. Louis, in big cities where you have the majority of African immigrants who send their kids to school, do they have in their curriculum program of studies courses that are designed for the kids, taking into consideration what? Their cultural background and who they are? No. The same as the school content does not respect the presence of African Americans, it is the same thing for us, the Africans. And this is the number one issue of visibility. We got to make two distinctions in here. Number one distinction is African immigrant, or if you want, African-born students, which means students who were born in Africa and who migrated to the United States. But you also have a second generation, the children of Africans who migrated to the United States, who are living in here. They are still considered Africans, and we have another issue with them. It is the issue of parenting. And parents, I'm calling on you now. Give me 5 more minutes and we're done with this. And maybe open for a question if it is possible. The issue of parenting is very, very important for us. What does that mean? We come from Africa. We have cultural values, we have moral values, we have educational values, and we understand what life should be. But the kids who are born in here, or even those who come in here, live in a different environment. Different from what we live and what we experience back in Africa. Therefore, parents, you should be able, or I would say, we should be able to find the common level and the ground to match and pair the students and make sure that our kids are not disadvantaged at home but also at school. How do we achieve that? When it comes to the language barrier, as somebody mentioned, there are so many resources in each of the school districts in New York, and you should be aware of that. Therefore, parents, your first job for tonight is to take this email address or this website, www.nyc.gov. This is the New York School District website. Go onto it. If you don't speak English, they have a French version. If you don't speak French, necessarily they have somebody in the school district that can translate in Mandingo. Believe me. Of all the African languages, the West African languages, the number one that is mostly translated or where they find interpreters is Mandingo or any other language. Be aware of what resources are available for you as parents. Let me give you some real quick and we close on that for tonight. Parents, I want to move on to what I call very practical issues. Number one, as we did tonight, you as parents, or we all as parents, need to be able to identify the issues that our kids are facing. The issues might be different. It may not be the language barrier, but it may be that the child has difficulties learning. It may be that the child has a mental retardation. And sometimes in Africa or in our communities, we don't want to talk about that. And I give you an example. A brother of us in Philadelphia has his daughter who came from Africa She has problems learning, and she was diagnosed with mental retardation and so on and so forth. Let's be careful. Sometimes those things are used again as a stigma. There is a dose of racism behind, but at the same time, it is also true that kids can suffer from that. Because we are from Africa, we don't like to hear about those things. We hide behind the wall and say, my child is not affected by this. At the end of the day, the child is still lagging behind in terms of performance. Identify the issues. Number one. Number two, Mr. President, Monsieur le Pasteur, Mr. Imam, we are all community leaders. I want to ask the Imam, do you have a community center? Do you have an after-school program? But kind of. Okay. Pastor, please forgive me to poke on you. Do you have a community center? Not really. Do you have an after-school program? You do? Okay. What else will I say? Do you have a health center or a health program? No. These are very important issues for us. The Asian communities are doing that. They have community centers where they take care of health issues, but where they also take care of educational issues. Therefore, Mr. President, this is something that we have to do. After school programs needs to be reinforced. Summer camps needs to be reinforced. Truancy prevention needs to be reinforced. You talk about discipline, bullying, and you also talk about free English classes for parents. Somebody told me parents cannot do homework. Sometimes it's because the parents themselves do not speak English very well. And you have a free English classes in the United States. It is impossible, people. Let me yell it in here. You can be in the United States for 18 years and you don't speak English. How do you go to work? I want to poke the ladies. Many of our ladies are in the hair braiding businesses. And my brothers and my sisters, the number one thing they know is this: kinky twists, micro braids, China, what do you call it? Senegalese twists, and money. When it is done, and money. There needs to be something else. Clap for them because they're doing a lot of work. Please. And I respect you, ladies. But please, we need to kill these stereotypes. It is impossible that we don't take advantage of the free English classes that we have. I give you one anecdote. In Philadelphia, I did the homework for some kids over the phone. Because I live in East Oakland, and the child is somewhere in West Philadelphia, is 1 hour away. The mother calls me and says, Mr. President, son homework là, vraiment, je vais épeler les mots là, et puis tu vas dire. So she goes, the English word, she will spell them in French, letter by letter for me to write the whole words, reconstitute the whole sentence, and help the child over the phone. We cannot do that. I want to do it, but we cannot keep on doing this if we want to close the achievement gap. And also, I'm going to be quiet on this one. How many parents over here can manipulate the internet? How many parents over here? Raise your hand if you are fluent, if you are proficient, if you are good with the internet. A few hands are up. Okay, good. Now when you go on the internet, what do? Tell you what we do. We check the news about home. We check to see if such and such died so that the country can be free or the country can move on to whatever it is. We forget that the internet is the powerful tool that we have today to follow what the kids are doing. They are better than us when it comes to computers. This generation, they are smarter, they're not wiser. They know everything. They don't know how to use it. Monitor that. Be on the internet with them and use the internet as a powerful tool to close this gap that we are talking about. Parents, we don't have time. I understand our working conditions is the last word, our working conditions, but we need to be able also, every time it is possible, to go out with the kids with the school projects. When the child has a project in science, take them to the zoo, be there with them. And the last thing you want to say, and we want to understand, in order to close again this achievement gap and do better, how many people understand? That's the last word. How many people in here can read very well the grade report cards? How many people understand what the grade report card is? How many people understand the grade report cards? Let me tell you why I asked you the question. In Philadelphia, two mothers called me and say, "Les quatre la même c'est venu. Il faut venir lire." It was around Christmas time. And the kids, because they wanted to have their gift, said, "Mommy, we did great." Mommy did not understand very well what it means to have a D or a C. The child said, "We did great." And I go over there with my little PhD. Thank God I know how to read the grade report card. And I look at it, all I see is a C, B minus, D, and D. To what extent have you done great? Now let me deconstruct that for the parents. They all are in awe with the mouth wide open. Dans les enfants là, ils nous ont menti alors. Yes, they're going to lie to you because you don't know how to read it. Let us learn how to read it. Let us learn and know one thing, that we can every single day go to the school and sit in the classroom. How many people know that? It is your right as parents to go to the school, sit in the classroom, or request to see your child's report card anytime that you want. All these are tools that you have in your hands. Again, go to the New York School District website and you will see all the materials available for you to help your child do better in school, close the gap that we are talking about, and keep our communities better and better and better and better and better. Thank you for inviting me. Mr. President, thank you again, and whoever wants to talk to me about how to help, we are ready for that, but we have great work to do as community leaders. Thank you.
Thank you again, Doctor. Please clap your hands for Dr. Eric Eddy for the great presentation. Award to Imam Suleiman Konate. Come on, we clap for him, please. It's a great achievement. Thank you very much, Imam. Merci, Imam Konate. At this time, we're going to move on with the president of the different associations, Ivorian Association in New York. Nous allons continuer avec la remise aussi des diplômes et des plaques de reconnaissance aux différents présidents des différentes associations ivoiriennes qui existent ici à New York. Alors, Monsieur le Président, s'il vous plaît. Voilà, je vais appeler Monsieur le Président Lucien Kwasi. He's getting himself together. He's getting the awards. There you go. So we're going to call the people by name. Le pasteur, mais c'est que j'ai oublié, on va dire ça tout de suite, le pasteur Michel. Voilà. Donc le président qui entend au pasteur. Voilà. Donc qui est le premier? La première, Jean Kwasi. On va les appeler formellement. D'accord. The first person to be called here is Jean Kwasi. Jean Kwasi, please come forward. On acclame pour elle, s'il vous plaît. Jean Kwasi est la présidente de l'association des Atiers. Voilà. Voilà, c'est comme ça, c'est une reconnaissance. C'est très important. Le travail abattu dans la communauté au niveau de la diaspora doit être récompensé. La deuxième personne que nous allons appeler ici, Monsieur Abbé Georges, qui est le président de AFIA. Mr. Abbé George, please come forward. He's the president of the association named AFIA. Please come forward. Thank you very much for the great job. It's a great job. I mean, it's an achievement. The next person. We're going to call Dugan Kouassi. Dugan Kouassi, si tu es là, avancez s'il vous plaît. Dugan Kouassi est le président actuel de l'AFIA. Il n'est pas là. Bon, on va recevoir ça pour lui. Dugan Kouassi is not here. So somebody else is going to receive the award for him. That's good. Who's next?
Le président de Adeba.
Ok. Président Fidel Yao. Le président Fidel Yao, qui est le président de l'association nommée Adeba. Je crois qu'il n'a pas pu effectuer le déplacement, mais quelqu'un va recevoir ça pour lui. Voilà, merci mon frère. En tout cas, tu lui transmets toutes nos félicitations, nos remerciements pour le travail vraiment accompli. Merci. C'est qui?
Il est lui le président de quoi? Il est le président de Africa.
At this time, I would like to call forward Mr. Vamusa Bamba. He's the president of the association named Afrique Attente. Voilà, Monsieur Vamusa Bamba, qui est le président de l'association Afrique Attente. Merci, Monsieur Vamusa Bamba, merci pour votre travail, pour l'excellence et pour tout le travail que vous êtes en train de faire pour la communauté. Merci. Le prochain, c'est qui? Voilà, at this time I would like to call President Rokia Ba. Rokia Ba is the president of the association named ABBA, at Fafia. Voilà, Fafia, voilà. Ok, et si elle est là, Rokia Ba? Rokia Ba est là, si elle est là, président de l'association Fafi, elle n'est pas là. Voilà, on l'acclame quand même pour elle. On l'acclame pour elle, s'il vous plaît. Voilà. Now, at this time, I would like to call another president. I think this one is well known. The president of the Association of the Residents of Makori. Le président de l'association des associations de Makori, Mr. Ismail Sissé. Mr. Ismail Sissé. You can see that he's well known. Thank you, Ismail, for the great job that you have been doing for the community. The people that we are rewarding are the president of different associations, you know, in the African diaspora, people who have been working hard for the community. The next on the line. I would like to call this André Vagba, President André Vagba. I think he's the president of Isede. Okay, please come for her. Please encourage the sister. Please encourage the sister for the hard job, for the hard work. It's not easy in this country to find the time to do this. We thank you very much, and God will bless you for your for the hard work that you're doing for the community. The next person. At this time, I would like to call chief of staff, I believe, of the Association of Makori, for the great job that she has been doing for the community. I would like to call at this time Miss Anne-Marie. I will see. Please come forward. She's being recognized for her great job. And so this one I've been seeing her almost everywhere. Everywhere I travel, I see this woman. In Washington, D.C., in every event that I've been to, I've been seeing this woman. Please give her again one hand. Give her a hand, please. Thank you. God bless you for your hard work. Continue the good job. That's good. Thank you, DJ. But you gotta keep it up for everyone, not just for the ones you like, you know. You know, discrimination is over now. You don't discriminate anymore. We have a black president now, you know, so no more discrimination.
Alexis Kwamela, ancien président de ARA. Alexis, c'est ancien président. C'est Kwamela.
I would like to call forward this time Mr. Alexis Kwabena. He's the former president of ARA. He's being recognized tonight for his great job. Please clap for this gentleman, please. Thank you, sir, for your great job.
Raoul, qui était l'ancien président de ABD. Raoul.
Also, as you can see, we don't just recognize the actual president, we also recognize the former president because they set the path for for people to lead them and to follow them in their leadership. Because I always say that if you're leading, people have to follow you. If you don't have followers, then you're not leading. You cannot be a leader without followers. At this time, I'd like to call President Raoul Balos, who was the former president. Please clap for him, please. Come on, thank you very much for your achievements. We're now going to move on with the religion leaders. The religious leaders. These are the ambassadors of Christ and also for the Muslim society, right? So at this time I would like to call, who's the first to come? I would like to call Pastor Yolande Amisha, who's the pastor of Power of God Manifestation. Please come for my pastor. This is my pastor, please. I was blessed to have two pastors. Thank you for the great job. The next is who? The next pastor to be called forward is Pastor Amisha Edwards, the husband. You know, if you want to keep the peace in the house, you have to do both sides. You don't want no fight in the house, you know. Thank you for the great job. God bless you. That's my pastor. Thank you. Now that I see that everyone is laughing at the smile on your face, we're going to continue with that. Because the next person I would like to introduce to you, this person is coming not to receive a award, but to put joy in your heart. Because people saying that people can fight, they can be divided in their ideas, in the way they see things, their visions. But there's one thing that brings people together is music. So please, help me introduce the singer, the one and only, the one who has been blessed with the golden voice, Marie Constance, please. Thank you. Voilà, Marie-Constance va nous faire esquisser des pas de danse. Voilà, merci. Le micro est à toi et tu as la piste.
Merci. DJ, allons.
Je
Avant que je me fasse venir.
Je vais chanter une chanson pour toutes les mamans qui sont là, pour toutes les femmes qui sont là. Alors j'aimerais que les femmes vraiment participent avec moi.
C'est une façon de nous dire merci à toutes les femmes du monde, à toutes les femmes qui sont là. Ok? Le refrain c'est très clair et c'est très simple. Akuba Rosalie. Akuba Rosalie.
monde veut danser. Voilà, nous sommes là jusqu'à 4h du matin. Donc on va remettre, m'excuser, les certificats à nos enfants avec les légales. Et après cela, nous allons continuer la danse. Voilà. Donc on va dire le mot. Voilà, chaque enfant recevra un certificat et une médaille. La China Sosa. Aisha Bali. Aisha Bali. Quand je regarde dans la salle, la plupart parlent le français, donc nous allons parler en français maintenant. Bon, il s'agit d'un certificat qui a été émis par le New York City Department of Education, et ça dit simplement Certificate of Encouragement to Aisha et Barry, et ça dit, il y a une cotation qui dit all our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. Et c'est une cotation, c'est une réflexion qui vient de Walt Disney. Alors, merci. The next person is Jasmine Kwame. Félicitations. Aïcha Montero, elle n'est pas là, donc ses parents, je vous demande d'applaudir, ce sont ses parents qui sont les parents de cette soirée, monsieur et madame Montero. Son frère, Karim Montero. Merci beaucoup, monsieur et madame Montero. Merci pour votre soutien. Voilà, merci une fois de plus. Aïma Titi. Aïma Titi. Je pense qu'ils se sont trompés. Elle n'est pas là. C'est Kimia Titi, on est le nom Kimia Titi, désolé, on va rectifier, Kimia Titi. Félicitations. Stéphane Titi, tu n'es pas là, ok? Merci madame Titi. Vous allez prendre la médaille, je vais prendre la médaille sur la vous. Félicitations. Michael Loya. Michael n'est pas là. Voilà. Michael est là. Merci. Rappelez-vous que Michael Loya, c'est son papa qui a fait la prestation de tout à l'heure. Voilà. Merci. Ibrahim Barry, voilà. Ibrahim Barry, c'est, si vous voulez, c'est un peu spéciale pour moi. Voilà, Ibrahim Barry, je suis son parrain. Et donc, aujourd'hui, Ibrahim fête son anniversaire. Donc, je demande d'acclamer Ismaël Ibrahim, voilà, pour son anniversaire. Merci, Ibrahim. Merci, Ibrahim. Merci beaucoup. Marc Olivier Titi. Marc Olivier Titi. Voilà, merci bien Marc Olivier, merci. La prochaine personne c'est Juillet assis. Juillet assis. Bon, il n'est pas là, donc son papa prendra son certificat pour lui. Merci. La prochaine personne c'est Axel Ryan Inzi, qui n'est pas là aussi, donc il va garder le certificat. Son papa est là, je crois. Non, son papa n'est pas là. La prochaine personne, c'est Angelo Crabé. Angelo Crabé. Il était là, il n'est pas là? Ok. Ah, c'est Emmanuel qui est là, d'accord. Merci beaucoup. Merci. Megan Kouassi. Megan Kouassi, c'est une coïncidence, mais c'est ma fille bien aimée, ma fille bien chérie. Voilà, c'est ma fille, merci. C'est ma première fille d'ailleurs. La prochaine personne, c'est Sarah Colimon. Sarah. Ok, bravo Sarah, bravo. La prochaine personne c'est Gala. La prochaine personne c'est Joyce Boissy, qui est aussi ma seconde fille. Lille Sangaré, il n'est pas là. Voilà, c'est son papa qui va prendre son certificat pour lui. La Tchada Sosa. Raquel Loria. Là, c'était son papa qui a chanté tout à l'heure aussi. Raquel. Clayton Sangaré, c'est le deuxième fils de M. Sangaré. Voilà, excusez pour ce petit laps de temps. Voilà, c'est une fête pour les enfants. Et donc, on remercie les parents. Voilà.
Vous l'avez découvert ici. Que vous avez découvert Ivoire TV. Ivoire TV.